Yo, I got our ticket out of here. Rumor is this guy is sitting on at least 300K. Boom! That's our guy.
Wait, is he blind?
We messed up to rob a blind guy, isn't it?
Just because he's blind don't mean he's insane, bro.
How many of you are there?
Just me, man, all right? Just let me go, please. Okay, I swear to God.
Here's the thing about horror, man. Horror can come in so many different ways, Martin. And see, y'all looking at all these ghosts and all these slashers and killers out there. Y'all thinking like, oh man, those are the real scary people. But the cool thing about horror can be anything. Horror can be as simple as that motherfucker down the street that can't even see. What are you gonna do to me? He can't even see where he's going. Gotta have a stick to go over. What we gonna do? Beat me with that stick he got? Well, here's the deal. Out on the streets, out in daylight, maybe he can't do anything. But in his territory, in his home,
in the dark,
you break in his house, oh, you don't know what he can do. And that is the premise behind the movie we're talking about right now. Don't Breathe. And we have 3 young people living in Detroit, and they're desperate. I mean, that's all you got to say. I live in Detroit.
Yeah. And don't finish that.
Yeah, exactly.
Detroit. We know you're desperate.
Why are you breaking into people's houses? I live in Detroit. Oh, okay. Got it.
That's like the #1 profession there, right?
Exactly. Say no more. I mean, come on. Detroit, they want to get the hell out. Jobs are scarce. There's no opportunity there. They would argue, man, I ain't got no choice but to break into people's houses and rob them, especially when it's so easy with our friend whose father works at a security company. We can get us the codes, and we can just break in easy and be out. It's too easy to pass up. And the easiest mark happens to be this blind dude who has millions of dollars stashed in his place. Blind? Oh, man, that's the easiest mark of them all. But as I told you, and that should be a sign right here, no matter if a person's blind, crippled, or crazy, if they live in Detroit in a house in the middle of nowhere, miles away from everybody, chances are they don't want nobody coming near them, and they're hiding something that they're more than willing to protect, even to die to protect. And I have to say that even though I keep using the word horror, I don't see what's so horrible about this movie.
It's a thriller.
Yeah, it's more like along the lines of like a panic room kind of thing.
Yeah.
Of this.
Well, you know, you could say that. Some people argue it's a thriller. Some people could say it's a horror movie. I don't see the horror in it because they're fucking with this dude.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
No, won't be none.
Yeah. You know, the so-called victims in this movie, they go in and try to rob a man at gunpoint. You know, and here's the deal. Look, if you break into Daredevil's house in the middle of the night, he gonna whoop your ass, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a bad dude. You gonna get an ass whoop if you break into Daredevil's house.
Sure.
It's just that simple.
Yeah, coming into a dark house with an old blind man who's ex-military, that's like fighting Jackie Chan in a Home Depot.
Yeah. Yeah,
Look down the alley.
Shit. Yeah. Props everywhere. You know, this is crazy. I mean, this is the most straightforward case of stand your ground I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
Shit, this shit is called Don't Breathe. The shit should have been called That's What You Get. You know?
You deserve this.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, why is this going to be scary to me? Because I'm looking at these people. They deserve what they get.
And you bring up a good point because you feeling sympathy with the people in trouble. That's a big element. Like I thought about Green Room. You know, those punk rockers, they walk into a situation and they're trapped.
Yeah.
And they, it was no fault of their own. But here, you're kind of like, yeah, I'm looking forward to you kids dying.
oh yeah, they talking about horror fun. The moment that blind man crept up, everybody like, ooh, I'm like, yes, yes,
it's on now.
Yeah.
The blind
Whoop that motherfucker's ass.
He right over there.
People like, you shut. But you're probably wondering, how does this work? Well, the deal with this is that this is a lesson in pure cinematic manipulation. When you you have these elements here where you say that can't be scary. I mean, this guy's being victimized. These people are wrong. Why should I root for anything? What's so scary about this? There's nothing supernatural here. But director Fede Alvarez, who did the Evil Dead remake, he challenges us by using all those elements that we doubt and using them to work against our expectations, against what we expect in a horror film. And that's the thing that I'm talking about here, because if you give a description of everybody that's in this movie, just if you look at it on paper, you feel nothing for these people. Because the so-called, again, victims here, they're bad. These people they're badly written. These people are badly written, and when I look at them, if you look at the movie's not trying to actually apologize for that. They're saying, when we mean badly written, we mean that these are people who are, when you look at that, they're pure assholes. You got Money, who's played by Daniel Zavato. He's addicted to robbery and vandalism and
My Strange Addiction.
yeah, exactly. He does this for the rush. And the shitty thing about him is that it's not enough for him to just break into your house. Mm-hmm. He's got to take a piss on the floor.
Yeah,
break extra shit while he's there.
Being rude.
Yeah, just be rude about it. He could have just left. You have Alex, played by Dylan Minnette, who's he's the Percy Jackson knockoff that you see in the movie right here. He has a nice home. He doesn't have to be doing this. He's just doing it because he's pussy whooped for pussy that he ain't even getting.
Right.
Yep.
And then the most sympathetic one is Rocky. Rocky, who was in the lead in the Evil Dead remake. She's played by Jane Levy, and she's the one that's trying to get out of a bad situation because she has a kid. She has, she has somebody to take care of. She doesn't want that person growing up like them. But you know what? So what? A lot of people have bad situations they're trying to get out of. They don't victimize other people
She
for
got
it.
that 8 Mile house.
Yeah, exactly.
Going on here. The thing is, go for it. No. I was gonna say I couldn't figure out if that was her kid or her mom's kid. I don't think they really ever said that.
No, it's her kid.
Yeah.
It's her kid. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry, I missed
it's
that
her
part.
kid. Well, plus she's the one leading little Dylan Minnette around. She's manipulating. She knows what she's doing.
Come on, please.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know what you're doing.
Yeah. No.
Even with her boyfriend saying, "You ain't gonna fuck her." I don't know why you helping us out.
Yeah, the dude threatens him. He knows he's not gonna get anything, and he's threatened too. The dude Money looks at him and says, "Yo, bro, be a friend and stay in the friend zone." Yeah. But there's a chance. You fucking idiot. And the great thing about the film is that they set it up to where They let you see the old man. They let you see the contrast with these young people here who are thuggish. And they make you very much sympathize for the situation that's about to happen in favor of the blind dude.
At least 4 blocks around, houses aren't occupied. No people means no 501 patrol. It's gonna be a piece of cake. The guy's the shut-in hasn't left his house in like 5 days. I say we do it within the house. We'll get a chlorobomb.
Jesus!
Get out back home, Doc!
Yeah, that's her guy.
Wait, is he blind?
He lost his sight in Iraq or something.
That's kind of messed up to rob a blind guy, isn't it?
Just because he's blind don't mean he's insane, bro. We do this tonight.
Plus, I hate dudes with shitty cornrows too, man.
Yeah, white dudes with cornrows. And I mean, the guy's just a piece of shit through and through. The funny thing is, to look at Stephen Lang, blind or not, you know you're not supposed to fuck with that guy.
Yeah.
He is jacked. I don't know how old he is, but he is jacked.
I mean, you can see him through the army coat that he got.
Yeah.
That motherfucker's bulge out and shit. And it's funny. Did you see that dog? That dog got some fast evaporating drool. Did you see that shit? Like one moment it looked like they're going through the car wash. Look at that. And then the next moment, this shit's gone.
Well,
Let me clean this up for you.
Yeah, when they cut away, the dog wiped it off.
Yeah, no,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Can't have a dollar.
That's what it was. That dog had a squeegee, Dog like those homeless people and shit. Dog spit shine that window.
All right, God bless.
You got some change, man. But Sammy gave that shit to me today. I was like, did that dog really squeeze in that car, man? That's a good Photoshop job, man. But You know, when that's the thing. That's the thing about Stephen Lang, man. Stephen Lang plays the blind dude in this, and you're right. This really is a thriller, but the movie, it tweaks certain things to mess with your mind, to manipulate your mind into thinking that it is in the horror territory. When they go into this house, Stephen Lang pops up. This motherfucker teleports more than Jason Voorhees, man.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, he knows his house, so he's able to just pop up out of nowhere.
He knows where all the trap doors
Yeah,
are.
exactly. So when he pops up, you know, that's what they do. There's no way you should be feeling sorry for these people that broke into his house, but they frame it in a way so it's so shadowy. So he's always in the darkness looming. So he pops up out of nowhere and scares us that it's already tricking us into thinking that, yeah, he's the bad guy here.
Who's there?
Hey man, just chill, alright? Look, I was wasted and I wandered in, so that was my bad, alright? So I'm just gonna leave, okay? Stay right there. Don't you move. Yeah, that's right. I know what's in there, and I ain't leaving without it. You got me? Now you do as I say, all right? Well, do you hear me or what? I said stop. Don't you move. What are you gonna do now, huh? Huh? Stop!
Yeah, that's what we gonna do, motherfucker. You know, don't ever ask somebody what they gonna do when they're approaching you that way. What you think I'm gonna do? I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. That's what I'm gonna do.
You have a gun on somebody, you're not supposed to let them get within 5 feet because that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, and another reason you don't feel sorry for the blind man in this, as Martin said, Stephen Lang is jacked, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because you know when he puts hands on you, you ain't breaking free.
I'm trying to be Cable, bitch.
Yeah, when you in them grips, that's it. Don't split your ass like a wishbone, man. You ain't breaking out of that.
It's Ober and Martell situation.
Yeah. You know, I saw Stephen Lang. I said this before. I saw Stephen Lang years ago at Comic-Con. At a Q&A roundtable. And I saw him there, and I thought he was Zoe Saldana's bodyguard.
Oh, for real?
I didn't know he could. When I figured out he was in a movie, they were saying, anybody any questions? And I put my hand up, and I said, I don't give a fuck about Avatar. I want to know, what do you eat, man? What do you do to work out? What is your regimen? He says, I eat fetuses for breakfast, man.
And kids from Detroit.
Yeah. This guy is... He's so intimidating. I mean, the guy's 65 years old, and that's another element of surprise right there. Everybody still thinks with him even being as jacked as he is in the shadows, you don't expect him to be as agile as he is, you know, as quick as he is, especially because when he grabs somebody, them veins start popping and everything. It is terrifying to see a person that you underestimate lock you in his grasp, and there's nothing you can do.
Well, plus they dropped that he's career military. You know, you assume probably special forces by how big he is.
Yeah.
And when he gets his hand on a gun, you know it ain't gonna be like a blind man just firing wild.
No.
He's using those daredevil senses,
Yup.
the echolocation to lock in on where you are.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
a dead shot, even blind.
Shit, that's what I'm seeing. When that girl was she was in the corner, she farted. Pop, 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 pop. You heard that fart echo. You know? And Stephen Lang used to be so goofy looking when he was younger too, man. I found a picture on the day. I just had to bring this up because I was looking at pictures of him when he was strong. I found a picture of him when he was
strong.
When he was young. He was in a production of Death of a Salesman. That's him back there, man.
Oh wow.
That's him.
He looked goofy as
And
hell.
do you know who
right
that
there.
is?
Oh no, I remember this one. It was on. They played it on Showtime.
Yeah. And do you know who that is down there?
Is that John Malkovich?
That's John Malkovich, man, with his flock of seagulls looking ass down there. Look at
Wow.
it. It's funny because this shit's supposed to be in the 50s. He the one looking like a new age 80 band.
right. Biff Loman.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? Because you knew that the reason why Stephen Lang is so jacked now because he was bullied up until his 30s, man. John Malkovich bullied him on the set. Hey, Lang, where's your lunch money?
That Peggy Hill hair, man. Not a good look for anybody.
He looks like a soccer mom. Look at him. So that's why he's so mad now. Never be bullied again. But the true character in the house, it's not even the blind man. There's three characters in this movie. There's The blind man, that's what his name is in the film. They never give him an actual name. That dog you saw is another character in that house. They do some amazing things with this house. This house, another reason why you think it's a horror movie when it's really a thriller, because they place it in what essentially is a spook house. And because this house is so big, I don't even know where half those fucking doors go, man. Like, what is this old man doing with this house right here?
Stairway that leads to nowhere. Like, what's happening here?
Yeah,
it's a joke.
Yeah, in this house, this house is huge, and they play with space so well. And that's one of the things I'm really impressed with in the movie is how it's a big house with these really tight corridors, these really small spaces, and what that allows them to do is allows them to play with lighting in a really eerie kind of way. But when this shit turns into a horror video game where he just pops up out of nowhere, he starts turning that corner, you never know he's gonna pass by you. And they know how to play with his blindness in frightening ways too. He's right there on you. If he hears you, he's on you. And these people have to dodge him because they never know when he's gonna pop up. Like, God damn, that's the biggest old man I've ever seen. He's looking like I saw Stephen Lang at Comic-Con, man. That's what I was looking at. Like, God damn. But and I'm gonna play this a little bit more because you'll see them. They'll go into rooms and they'll be trapped with this guy, and they have to sit there and not make a sound. And as you can see right there, this becomes a nightmare because once these kids break in, they can't get out.
Right.
You know, he's locked everything from the inside out.
Oh, you wanted to come in here, huh?
Wouldn't it be funny if he just decided to take a shit right now? Kid just have to sit there and just wait. But it truly is a nightmare situation when it's like when they get in that house just eats them.
Basically.
Yeah. That house said, where the fuck you think you going? You ain't going nowhere.
No, you want it in here.
And the blind man doesn't need sight. That's the biggest trick here. I mean, he doesn't need light. He's not scared of the dark. These people are depending on their senses of sight. He's his smell, his touch, his layout of the house he knows so well. Everything is in his advantage. And I'm surprised, I'm amazed that they're able to to do the kind of camera work. If you notice here, they're in those tight spaces and they are able to maneuver that camera around.
Sure.
And I don't know how they did that. And like I said, there are so many rooms that they go in. The house is a maze, pretty much. I don't know where these doors lead to. I don't know what kind of it's like another dimension in that shit. I expect them to actually do that hallway gag from Benny Hill. Old man was chasing him through the house.
The monkey starts playing. Like,
like the old man comes out and he's y'all. When the kids come back, they see themselves at the door and shit. You know, it's a little unbelievable. Yeah. That's true. Like, this man does not need that house. That house does get bigger. In fact, they shot the outside parts in Detroit. And I heard that they shot the interiors in a completely different house or different setting.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I think it was in Hungary that they did that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and you know,
they couldn't just build a set.
Thank you. Like, they had to go all the way to Hungary to find a house to film in.
Yeah, man. Like, you know, maybe that house was like some interdimensional portal or something. You know, I made it bigger. I don't know, but you know, when I watched this, I told you that Stephen Lang, he's working in the movie because he's big. Yeah, he's big, but that's not the only reason why. This is a genius idea. It really is. I mean, this is something where I can honestly say I've seen a cat and mouse chase before in a movie. I've seen thrillers where people were pursued by somebody in tight spaces, or bottle films, as we like to call them. But this is the first time I've seen a concept like this, where you were being manipulated by things that you can decide about. One moment you're rooting for the kids, the next moment you're rooting for the blind man. You really don't know who's who. And the reason why Stephen Lane really works in this is because just because he's big and imposing, but because he's an animal in this. You know, since he behaves like an animal, he can't see, so he's always twitching. You know, when he hears a sound, he's flicking his head. He's sniffing the air. You know, there's a primal animal instinct to him.
It's one of the things that puts you on edge because you think, all right, this is the moment where I make my move, and you're like, oh, nope, better not.
Yeah, floorboard creaks or you fart or something. He's like, hey, man.
Yeah. And the way he, you know, and he talks sometimes, it's better when he doesn't, because when he's not sure of something, he got the, he grunts like a bear sometimes. Yeah, all these things it's one of the movies that I've seen where they overplay certain elements and it really works to the movie's advantage. You know, there's some cliches in the movie and some elements that I don't like. I wish that they had kept a lot of the movie a mystery, because I know you said that they talked about how he's special forces and everything. You know, he's got a Punisher type of background. Yeah. And I'm thinking, I wish that they didn't have to tell you that, like he's a trained killer. You know, that whole thing of he's got some sort of PTSD going on. I think that's a little overplayed.
But do you think that would, like, you know, take away from the film? Like, if they didn't explain why he can do all this stuff, like if he was just a regular blind man, they could shoot a gun like that and you know, attack a guy.
That makes it make more sense.
I think it would. I like the whole thing of why is he able to do this? Okay. I like the whole mystery of, is he special forces? Or maybe they showed you something that you'd have to catch upon multiple viewings, like a medal or something. I wish it wasn't made so obvious. You know, the other thing is another cliche that they do. It's part of the movie. I'm not going to try to spoil anything, but early on in the movie, there's children or a child singing. You know, they try. That's an old thing of using the contrast of a child singing against an intimidating atmosphere to add creepiness. Yeah, you know, that's something I wish they hadn't done. And that ending, some people are going to be okay with it. Some people are not. I thought it was a little far-fetched for as basic as this movie is, where, you know, it's just really, like I said, it's just kind of primal fear and a pursuit. That ending goes off. And some people are going to say it's a little overboard, and then some people they'll accept it. I am of the opinion that I would like that it wasn't so over the top, but it didn't ruin anything for me at all. And the reason why, besides all the cool things I told you about the movie, this movie does one thing that I haven't seen movies do in a long time, and that's and I'm not trying to make any kind of political statement here, anything, but I'm just saying, from a filmmaking point of view, this is one of the few films that makes gun violence terrifying. Gun violence terrifying for what it is. I mean, as I said, the blind guy he's basically a slasher. And in slasher movies and horror films, you know, everybody got to use sharp objects. Pitchforks, knives, machetes. We're scared of those things more than we are of guns. Guns are held by cowboys and spies and action heroes. And every now and then, even if you do catch a bullet, maybe you get to have that one last word. You don't go out heroically. You know, it's gun violence is not portrayed as scary as it should be sometimes in films. And every time a gunshot goes off, I'm telling you, people, go watch this where they have a great sound system, because every time that gun goes off, people would. Did you know people ducking the theater we were in? Whenever the blind man pointed the screen, people like, oh shit, get out! You know, people like he was in a room shooting the place up. True. It's the gun. He doesn't use knives or anything. He uses a gun, and it's terrifying. You know, I also like that this guy is believable. This guy's not like Ghostface or any other masked guy. He's not a super villain. He's just a regular dude who, by the way, has also the advantage of calling the police on you if something goes wrong. How many times a killer in a movie can call the police? How many times Jason Voorhees called 911 and said, hey, I felt intimidated? You know, that's why I massacred everybody here. They were trespassing.
My bad.
Yeah, you know, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the movie. Well, the one thing about going into this movie, because I'm not on the camera right now.
Oh, sorry, sir.
Going into this movie, you should know how to operate that equipment. But going into this movie, man, one of the big things about it was when I saw the trailer for it, I was like, oh shit! Like they actually have a movie where they're gonna show that's usually one of my favorite parts of a film, which is that scene where the protagonist is in a situation where they can't see, but they're in a situation where the other person's got an advantage, i.e., Silence of the Lambs or Buffalo Bill or Quarantine, when she makes it to the attic. But with this, man, I feel like they kind of went too long with it, and it kind of became implausible. And one of the other big things with it was, again, like you said, there's not somebody that you root for. So you're kind of like, all right, which one is the least asshole? You know, is it turd sandwich or a douchebag? But yeah, that was the thing. It just seemed like it kind of got caught up in its own. I don't really know how to describe it. Like its own vibe. It was kind of smelling its own farts. Like it got to the point where. Like they did have some amazing camera work, especially the night vision scene when they got in the basement. But outside of that, man, it just seems like, all right, we're in this one spot, we're gonna figure the situation out, and then, you know, it turns into it was a good thriller, and then it turned into kind of a slasher flick near I don't want to ruin anything. That's what I'm trying to pick my words carefully. And the other thing was, it had like 6 different endings. I'm like, okay, this is where the movie's gonna stop. Okay, they're going more. Okay, they're going more. Okay, they're going more. So you're like, all right, you guys could have ended it at a really decent point, but you just chose to keep adding on things to it. It kind of made it unbelievable. There were moments I was walking out of the movie, talking to Martin. I was like, why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? That didn't make any sense. And it's something that you I understand, like you probably just looked over it because you appreciated a lot of the big things, the big moments, the cinematography and all that stuff. But it was just something that just kept sticking out for me, man. And that was something I didn't enjoy that much in this movie.
Really? And you know, I see. Even the more you tell me about how you complain about this, you open me. No pun intended. You open my eyes to some things that I probably forgot. Oh, my dog about to throw up over there. Yeah, that dog's like, you killed somebody, didn't you?
You can smell it on you.
Yeah, I smell death on you, man.
Dogs can smell Terminators.
You know that scene where they go and there's. You know, you got to have a part where there's a blind dude and he just cuts the power for everybody,
right?
Because he doesn't need it. Mm-hmm. I like that they didn't use any kind of night vision gimmick.
Sure,
right?
They just assumed that the audience would be caught up in the tension, and they just kind of let you be a voyeur as to what was going on, kind of a gray haze.
Yeah, that I mean, because it seemed like that's one thing I'm glad they chose to go gray as opposed to green, which everybody used. I was like, all right, that gray haze allows for just flat out light.
Yeah,
so you're gonna see people fade in, like Stephen Lang just fade in the background, and you see him, but the character doesn't. You're like, oh wow, that's cool. But outside of that, man, it was just very small pockets of this that I thought was done really well, and everything else it just seemed like a run-of-the-mill thriller slasher flick.
Okay, all right.
Well, man, the way you were talking it up, I was like, yeah, that sounds awesome. I'd like to see that movie. Except I saw this, and I felt that way through the first act of it, but kind of like Korey, like somewhere in the midst of the second act, I felt like it was kind of spinning its wheels, like it had played a lot of its tricks, and it was starting to repeat. And I thought the third act of this movie was goofy as fuck. Like it really did lose me. I mean, I was kind of with it at first because it was a good setup, but there's that point where I'm like, you know what? I don't like any of these characters who came in. I ain't cool with him no more. So let the music play,
please.
I just was like, I don't have a stake in the outcome of this.
And even it was something I didn't want to say, but apparently they showed in the trailer that person chained up. Like they could have cut that whole part of the movie out.
I really felt that too.
Yeah,
and also something where it just went like. I didn't know Sam Raimi had anything to do with this, but seeing his name afterwards, I was like, okay, that's why I got so goofy in that part. Where I was like, man, you could have just not, everything was going fine without you taking it to that level.
Yeah.
And you know exactly what I'm talking about. Where it was like,
it was really extremely goofy, dude.
You get mad at me, man.
No, like if you dug it, that's cool.
I mean, and like, look. You're not wrong in anything you said because all that stuff was in there. The cool filmmaking, the tension, it was. It's just there was that point. It's certainly halfway through where all that cool stuff wore off for me, and I'm just looking at everything else that's here, and it could have been cut down to something that kept all the cool things. I mean, it would have been a much shorter movie, maybe only an hour long. I don't know how long this was. Was it 2 hours?
It was an hour and a half.
Was it an hour?
It seemed longer.
Hour 40 minutes.
Yeah. It felt longer.
2 hours and 15. I don't know.
I mean, Stephen Lang is amazing, but between the three kids, Money, he was such a cliche. I was like, come on, you can't write no better dialogue for him. Other than that, he sucks.
Yeah.
That kid Dylan Minnette, I've seen him in so many movies, and just watch him here, I was like, yeah, he's got a cute face, but he's just not that good of an actor. And he should have been better even in something like this. The girl, Rocky, she's fine, even though her character is awful. I mean, really, I probably like the dog the most out of everybody.
Man, that dog.
The dog's being an asshole, but hey, he was doing his job.
He was doing his job, and that dog did his job well. That dog, for the dog of a blind dude, he taught the dog the layout of that house well. There was a part where Rocky tries to go through some air vents, and she's like, "Yeah, you can't get me now." That dog got a ladder and got ready.
Yeah, that was so goofy, man. I was like,
No, I love that. That dog did some.
man.
That dog did some. That dog turned Tom Cruise. This is some Mission Impossible shit, man.
That's what made it goofy, man. Because like when you're used to seeing people like Tom Cruise and Rocky in this movie crawling through an air vent, you're like, all right, that's fun. But like a dog doing, you're like, what the hell?
No,
Like,
man.
I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you.
No, that
I'ma
was
get
bad.
you.
I love that. I love that. Like she thought, yeah, fuck you. They're like, yeah, fuck you. They climbed through. They had a tool belt and everything. You know, I thought that was pretty badass myself. Man, what do y'all rate this, yo?
Honestly, for me, it's a rental. Because
Really?
I really feel like it blew it. I mean, there's so many things that I can't name that it did that was just like, ugh, you have, no pun intended, left a bad taste in my mouth.
Man, let me just stop right here before they keep going, because this shit right here. This is no. You know what?
Can I give my rating?
No,
before
because
you
you're
lump us
gonna
together?
fuck up something. No, because I got.
Can I give my rating?
No,
before
I'll
you
give
lump
it a
us
full
together?
price. I'll give it to you in a minute, because you feel you about to fuck up too. Y'all don't listen to these people right here. Now, see, this is the thing I knew was gonna happen. I knew this, and I'm mad about this because I walked out and I said, you know what? We're gonna talk about this and we all gonna love it. This is gonna be awesome, man. It's got flaws. Yeah, it's got some problems, but the technical direction in this and the premise and the way they pulled off of most of the movie, man, this is something that horror and thriller should aspire to. This is a full price movie.
No, quick. Even in the part that's good, they were manipulating sound so much to get their point across, to get you to feel that tension. I was like, y'all are artificially doing this. Suddenly, this right here, creaking floorboard, is super loud, but somebody's footsteps, you don't hear it at all.
See,
I was like, now his breath is loud, but now over here, it can't be heard.
You gonna do some
Stephen
shit.
Lang can hear a fly fart, but he can't hear somebody in the corner going,
Or the guy he walked by in the hallway who slammed against the wall.
and
he was walking at the time. It was mixed up
you
with his own-
saw that. You saw that. There's no way the kid slammed against the wall timed with the footstep.
Man, you can't hear everything, you know. Everything.
He's blind, Corey.
Things were echoing, man. You couldn't hear all the things that were going on at once. I mean, come on, man. The fucking dude is blind. Give him a break, man. Shit.
No, you can't. Okay, this is a problem with the filmmaking in this. You can't have him be super hearing dude one moment and then the next moment he's deaf.
Yo,
like if you saw that in Daredevil, you'd be like, "What the hell? Why
Y'all
didn't he
admit-
hear that
yeah,
guy
like
coming
a
up behind him?"
I dare you to watch it again and not see
what
what
y'all
we're talking
gonna
about.
do is there's gonna be some bullshit horror movie that comes out and y'all gonna give that a full price. I know that's how it's
Can
gonna
I-
go.
can
I'm pretty sure I'm not.
What's
going
your
to.
break? What's your
All
break?
right. I agree with you. With the cinematography especially was done masterfully in this. It was beautiful. But just like Lights Out, it had moments where it had some really great like stuff like, oh wow, I'm really happy they pulled that trick, or they took this thing and expanded on it. Like, somebody disappearing when you shine a light on them, or somebody being in the house when you're blind, or they're blind and they got to find you by hearing and touch and all that stuff. The first third of it is good. It's a great film. But like Martin said, that second and third act of that movie, especially the third act just became goofy. It became another slasher ending, and it became the ending was not entertaining at all, man. And this is the only and Corey, the reason why I'm giving it a matinee is because that first part was amazing. I would like to see other directors and cinematographers do work like that. But the premise for this movie wore really thin, and then the extra endings, the 6 endings of this movie, and then the ending just period was ridiculous.
Yeah, forget Don't Breathe, Don't Think.
It didn't have, you know what? This is a full price movie, y'all. If y'all appreciate horror and you appreciate originality, this is a full price.
It's a
film.
thriller. It's not even horror.
You know what, man? I'm gonna cut these lights on, come after your ass right now.
Close your eyes and do it.
Don't fuck.
We come back, Martin. Corey's is dead.
Lay it out on the floor.
Make my own movie. Mr. Magoo is the killer.
Shit, forgot I ain't blind. How'd I knock this chair over, man? I need
found a way.
Oh. Listen, fucking
Full price. This and Lights Out. Go see this and Lights Out together. Have fun.
He's coming.
Now you're gonna see what I see.